Hello, beautiful people. Before we start, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. So many of you watch the videos, but as I told you yesterday, almost 80% who watch the videos are not subscribed to me. So why not? Subscribing is free, liking is free, sharing is free, commenting is free. If you'd like to join, that's for a small fee. I really appreciate your super thanks and the PayPal donations. Thank you very much. And before I continue with the video, a lady, remember that I said I was going to give away a painting to the lady who's watching, to my subscriber. Unfortunately, from Nicaragua, we can only mail to the United States. If you have anybody, I'll try to send it to the United States to somebody, and then they will mail it to you from there, okay? Because unfortunately from here you can't mail anywhere else but the US. So I wanted to talk to about something that's been doing the rounds. First off, I'm going to talk about I'm going to start talking a lot about other things other than Meghan Markle, because I have a lot of things that I'd like to talk to you guys about. I don't know if you watch Sam Smith, who is the singer at the Grammys. What really, I know many people may not be religious or at all. It's not whether you believe in Satan or you believe in nothing, or you're a Christian or whatever it is that you are. The issue here is the symbolism and what it represents. And what it celebrated, because basically he clearly wanted to convey a message that Satanism and evil is good, or is what you should embrace. And this is the Grammys, and we see all of Hollywood, all of the California people laughing and clapping, and how wonderful that is. Leave me your thoughts on that. Leave me your thoughts on that, because, and we have the likes of Shamima Begum, the woman who became an ISIS bride, but not only an ISIS bride, but she participated, and she lost her British citizenship, and now she's been rewarded with a BBC podcast. What message does that send to other women? And please keep in mind that this woman has never apologized. She apologized to the UK for what her mistake of joining ISIS, but not of the killings or everything else. She's always made excuses, and the point I'm getting with this is that everything that is evil and wrong, it's rewarded. And there's always an excuse. And then we wonder why we have people like Meghan Markle and Doria. Okay? Because if we look at Doria's life had not been rewarded until Meghan married Harry. Doria's life, okay, he married Mr. Markle. According to Tom Bowers, she was a drug dealer. This is a woman who, divorced her husband and then abandoned her kid, even though now in the Netflix documentary she said that Meghan Markle went to live with her at the age of 2 in this black neighborhood, and she was raised by black strong women. And then we have Meghan Markle in 2012 saying that she'd grown up being very aware of what racism was, but that for her, she had the advantage of being white and passing for white, and she could choose according to what was more advantageous for her. And then in 2022, when she did the documentary, or the floppimentary with Netflix, she is caught saying that she had never experienced racism until she went to the UK, because as far as she grew up in America, she had never been treated like a black woman. You can see that she almost wants to throw up when she says that. But then on the same breath, we have Doria saying that she really regrets not having had that conversation with Meghan Markle. The race conversation. So, and have you noticed how they both cry from the left eye? So I want to dig a little bit into this because Meghan Markle had the option. She didn't have to choose between two cultures because she could have embraced both the white and black side of both cultures. She could have kept her regular features and she would have appeared black because people would have been able to identify her as mixed race had she not had her nose operated, her teeth fixed, and her hair straightened. And had she, you know why Meghan Markle's we know why people can't stand the way Meghan Markle talks? Because in order for her not to sound black, and yes, there is such a thing as sounding black, just like there's this thing of sounding Asian, Hispanic, Hindu. In order for her not to sound black, she has to exaggerate the sounds of the words, which is why it is so unnatural on her. It sounds unnatural and it sounds fake because she's definitely trying not to. Meghan Markle claimed that she was teased by her siblings, even though she later on went and claimed that she didn't have any siblings, that she was an only child. But that she was teased by her siblings for being a different color, even though Samantha and Thomas never did that. But let's assume that they had. Let's assume that what Doria said in that documentary or mockumentary was true, that Meghan Markle went to live with her in an old black poor neighborhood raised by black poor women and men. And you're telling me that Doria never thought once of having the conversation? For example, when Meghan said that her grandmother used to grab her hands onto the sink while her grandmother pulled the hair to straighten it and make it look like, Meghan Markle never braided her hair. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed how regular little girls, they have braided hair? Meghan Markle never did that. At least I haven't seen any pictures, and from what I've been told, she never braided her hair braided, because it never happened. But let's say that, so are you telling me that, let's say that Doria was present in her daughter's life, that they lived in a poor black neighborhood. Had Meghan Markle not retouched her features, no matter how white her skin was, people would have been able to see that she was mixed race because of her nose, her mouth, her teeth, everything. She wouldn't have been able to pass as Hispanic if Meghan Markle, with her afro and with her nose, with her regular nose. She wouldn't have been able to pass as Hispanic. People would have noticed that she was Caribbean or something. There was black in her. Are you telling me that growing up in a black neighborhood surrounded by all that blackness, looking black, because Meghan Markle, before she whitened her features, people could tell she was black or she had a mix in her. But she went out of her way not to look black, not to be part of the black culture, not to sound black. This is why she had to, please listen to when she talks and how she over exaggerates the words, because if she talked normally, she would have sounded black. So we have Doria now whitewashing. Now Meghan Markle has always whitewashed her life. As I said, many people, many sugars have come to me and said, well, she has a right to be whatever she wants to be. Well, actually, I understand that. Had she lived and embraced both cultures. But she hasn't, has she? She has not lived and embraced both cultures. When she went to Malta, she was not looking for her black side of the family. Now she says she's 43% Nigerian. But when she went to the Rachel Ray show, she had already done her genealogy. Remember that she talked about having done her genealogy, and she found out that some of her roots were in Malta, misleading people, because her white side of the family moved to Malta for a little bit to try their luck. It didn't work out, they went back. And some of them went to the United States. But she misled people into thinking, oh, she's from Malta, she's Mediterranean. So when she appeared at Rachel Ray, she had already done her genealogy. She never mentioned she was 43% Nigerian, nor was she proud of it. She spoke at great length about her father, not about her mother. When she went on Jonathan Ross, you know, that thing, she talked about her father being a director of photography, a DP, where she did that double sexual thing with Jonathan Ross. She didn't say, oh, my mom is black from the Caribbean, or my mom is half black, or whatever, you know. And I had, no, she never mentioned the word black or black culture. Her friends, her life, she made a choice. We've had people like Shalon Lester, because Meghan Markle was his source for Star Magazine, and she used to ask him to print stuff, and they would have to pay for her for whatever information, or she would have to pay for articles to be published, and she would present her IDs. And Shalon Lester said it was Caucasian. So Meghan, and when Meghan says that her father, when she went to her father, said, Dad, you know, which box should I type in? There was black, white, and other, Hispanic, and other. So there was already an other box. There's also a box that says, I don't want to answer, or I much rather not answer. She didn't have to make a box, but the box that she chose was Caucasian. And it leads me to think of all this grift that Doria, it hadn't paid. I go back to Hollywood. It hadn't paid for Doria, because clearly she disappeared from Meghan's life. What really happened is she got divorced. Things were bad. She was dealing drugs on set. She married this idiot of Mr. Markle. I'm not calling him an idiot, but that's how she saw him, as a mark. She had the kid. She took him for everything she could. And then she basically disappeared from Meghan Markle's life. And she reappeared when Meghan Markle started to be successful in Suits. And Meghan Markle was helping her out financially. And then her father died under, shall we say, odd circumstances. And there was a fight between the siblings because of the house. And yet she ended up getting the entire home, in spite of the fact that there were other siblings. That's where she was living when Meghan Markle met her. And she was struggling to make ends meet. So her grift and her way of life had not paid off until now. With this type of generation or society that rewards lying, rewards defamation if it is for a political or a specific point of view. You know, the 10 Commandments, even if you're not religious, they're pretty basic and true. It is, excuse me, the 10 Commandments were written so long ago, and yet they're very simple. You know, you don't steal, you don't lie, you don't kill, you don't covet, you know, and the sins are the same. But for some reason, the sins have become the commandments, and the commandments have become the sin. If you tell the truth and call out a liar, you're called racist, and you are basically canceled. If you point out about people lying, committing murder, or whatever kind of abuse it is, and they belong to a specific group, you are considered a person that you're committing a hate crime for calling them out. You're canceled. Your speech is canceled. So Doria back then could not succeed, because back then there were still morals. So her life was actually pretty shitty up until Meghan met Harry. In a culture, in the current culture, that people live in fear of speaking out the truth. I remember I was absolutely trashed. I left Twitter for a while when I did my tweet in 2018, when I said that Meghan Markle was no A-lister, that she was a grifter, that she was going to take that title and run, because she never had any intentions of staying in the UK, and she was going to lie to everybody and just go back to Hollywood, or go to Hollywood to try and make it there with a new title. I was called, as I've told you this before, I was called a racist. I was called a bunch of things. Even in my early videos, when I say to people, Meghan Markle signed a contract with Netflix. They've come to get the footage. This was back in 2019, June 2019. I told you that a friend of mine had come to get the footage in London. And because they didn't trust for that footage to be sent anywhere else, so they sent a group of people to get it. I was called a liar, that I was just making things up every time. But this is the cancel culture. But what is baffling to me now is that we have people like Sam Smith glorifying Satanism. And we have to keep in mind what Satanism represents, which is evil, murder, lies, deceits. That's what Satanism traditionally represents. But here we have all these people in the audience glorifying it. We have people like Jussie Smollett caught lying, inciting hatred towards the white race or towards a specific group of people, politically and racially. And he's walking around free. And not long ago, he did his directorial debut where he was hailed walking the red carpet. We have Hunter Biden and Joe Biden lying with a laptop. And I mean, this is not about policy. Please, being political. I'm just pointing out things that are out there. Hunter Biden, how demanding, angry that he was caught. That laptop is his. And there are disgusting things in that thing, and things that point out directly to Joe Biden. And yet Joe Biden is not impeached. And let me tell you why. Because the Republicans, for all their talk, they lack backbone to pull the trigger and stuff like that. Democrats are vicious, and they go, look how they impeached Donald Trump twice, when they knew full well, at least the first time, that dossier that they were accusing him of was actually manufactured by Hillary Clinton. Has anything happened to Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama? Because funds were used from the Barack Obamas too. No. We have Shamima Begum, the woman who to this day, she has the balls to say that she could be a great asset to the UK to fight terrorism, because clearly they don't know what they're doing. Well, Shamima, I disagree with you. You know why I disagree with you? Your husband is in prison somewhere, and you're in a camp with no nationality. So clearly you were caught. And you know what's so chilling about this woman? There was a newspaper reporter guy that spent almost a year and a half with her. Now he no longer talks to her. Now he has admitted that she was manipulative. But for a while he was taken in by her. And he said that after he left the camp, there were exchange of messages. And he had a younger son or something that he was really not well and stuff like that. And then he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, what happened to your 3 children?" Because she gave birth to 3 babies and they all died because of the circumstance. Not right after, but I mean, she held them and then they were alive for months or so, and but they died because of the circumstances. You know what her response was? "Oh, I'm over that." How can you get over 3 of your 3 children dying? And one of the children is buried right outside the camp. And this woman was rewarded with a BBC podcast. And then they're going to wonder why other girls are going to follow in her footsteps. Because the way this culture is, the society is, the moral compass is gone. And I'm not a prude, guys. I'm a party animal. I used to be anyways. Now I'm too old for that. But then we wonder what the mass shootings. Then we wonder why the kids are warped. When we have the Grammys and all these singers, all these famous people who actually have influence in young children, glorifying hatred, deceit, lies, defaming. And the people who call them out are evil and censored. So when we wonder why Meghan Markle and Harry are thriving, they look for the right environment. Meghan Markle looked for the right target, which was the royal family. And UK Parliament also is very woke. Because had UK Parliament had any backbone, they would have said, wait a minute, this doesn't happen that way. And it all started, let me tell you, and I hate to say this because you guys know I adored the Queen. It all started when the Queen did not put her foot down and told Prince Charles, if you want to marry Camilla, give up the throne. Because King Charles managed what the Duke of Windsor couldn't do. And back then, the Duke, because he didn't meet the requirements. You know, when you apply for a job and you don't meet the requirements, and even now they have moral clauses depending on the position. You know, you cannot have this, you cannot have that, because you're representing somebody. Had the Queen put her foot down, like they did with the Duke of Windsor, it's either or. Prince Charles would have gone on and married Camilla, but then he would have had to give up the throne or his place in the line of succession. But he would have lived happily with Camilla. But Camilla, of course, didn't want to marry him. She was deeply in love with Andrew Parker Bowles, and Prince Charles was just a distraction. It's like people are worried about consequences. They're calling out these people. Meghan Markle committing perjury. Doria going in a documentary worldwide. Lying. Because Doria, I don't know why people are not focusing on this. Doria lied. She did not raise Meghan Markle in her black home by herself in a black neighborhood. She didn't even ever go to her school. It was Mr. Thomas Markle who went and picked her up. But Doria, why do you think Doria feels so confident about lying so blatantly? Because she knows there will be no consequences. So I'll just close with this, and please give me your opinions on all of this. I'll just close with this. A lot of people are justifying, oh, let's sneak Prince Harry for 48 hours and then sneak him out so he can be at the coronation because, you know, after all, his family, he's related to King Charles. If you're going to use that excuse that he's family, so is Mr. Markle, so is Samantha Markle, and so is Thomas Markle Jr. So are the Middletons. And they deserve to be invited. If you use the excuse that because they're family, they should be there because the king wants them there, that he wants Harry there because he's his family, whether they like it or not. Harry married Meghan Markle. Mr. Markle is the grandfather to whatever kids they may or may not have. And for those of you who now call Meghan Markle a black woman, just go back to that documentary where she says that she had never been treated like a black woman. And look at her life. She didn't embrace both cultures. She embraced one fully. And now she's using black people or the experience, and she can't even use it properly because, you know, she cannot compare it to Pidina. Pidina actually, please go to her channel. Pidina actually grew up in black America. So Meghan Markle, when she says that she never suffered racism, she means it because she always lived her life white. Even her agent said that he thought she was a California girl who tanned. He was surprised when he found out that her mother was black. That her mother was mixed race, sorry. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Why do you think Doria lied? And it's amazing how Doria taught her daughter how to cry with one eye, the left eye. Why do you think Hollywood is glorifying and rewarding evil? Now we have the BBC, a serious organization, rewarding evil. Because Shamima Begum not only was a bride that was brainwashed, she participated, and this is according to the Home Office because they look at a lot of things. She gleefully participated in the killing of many people. And to this day, she's only made excuses. She's only made excuses and lied. Apparently now she's going to use the racism card because everything, the traffic part didn't work out because it was proven that that was not the case. And now we have Sam Smith, a fat gay man, glorifying Satanism at a Grammy Awards while being celebrated by all those absolutely immoral people. And I count Adele in one of those. Beyonce. And they're all standing up and clapping. So we wonder now why Meghan Markle took off to Hollywood? And why Doria lies so blatantly?